Did you know the world is upside down? I guess I better hold on. Now and then I turn my head around, 'cause I'm waiting just for you. And I've been hopelessly shaking, I'm anticipating the news. Actions that are spoken inside out. I guess I get a ray gun just so I can save me from these crimes. In these serrated times, I am dragging back to blue. And I am hopelessly shaking, I'm anticipating the news. Upside down. Did you know the world is upside down? 'Cause I'm waiting just for you. And I'm hopelessly shaking, I'm anticipating the news. A girl named Billie Jean. I'm wondering if she made it down to New Orleans. Oh yeah, I'm wondering if she made it down to New Orleans. Oh yeah, I'm wondering if she made it down to New Orleans.
So I'm planning to drive a car across the country using nothing but biodiesel. So the idea is starting in Northern, which is about here, and drive over to Canberra, which it's about, or it's almost exactly 4,000 k's. This is the first step to make biodiesel. You got to filter out all the crap. But then after this, what you got to do is you got to get marine filters with water separators, and you filter it through, and they filter this down to 10 micron. So this is filtered. So this here is the chip machine where probably 2/3, if not 3/4 of the chip oil used to power the car across Australia has come out of. Inside there's basically oil, and it's a cleaner because it hasn't been used in one got changed a few days ago, but basically gets used for a few weeks and then gets chucked in the car and converted. There's one of these are what the chips sit in, and that gets dumped into the chip oil and they boil in there, and all of its crappy chips go and make the oil worse and worse until eventually it's no good to use for eating. But when it's no good for use for eating, that's very good because it means it's good to use for making fuel.
I think it's really cool. Super useful. I like things that are cheap, so smart, and it does the job really well.
So this is the vehicle that will be taking the trip across the country. Sangyong Maso, powered by a 2.9 litre Mercedes OM602 diesel.
The negative of it is the impact on the engine.
This is the location of the rabbit-proof fence, which is the longest fence in the world, which was built in 1901. And behind is the longest pipeline in the world, the C.Y. O'Connor pipeline. Over here, this is like a ghost town. You're going to find out what's inside. Oh, it's like a full meth house. Yuck. Leaving Coolgardie, I spent the night here, on my way to Kalgoorlie. I'm going a long way because I want to go through Kalgoorlie. So this is currently about 25 k's north of Norseman. The further it goes, it's so far away the horizon mirrors itself. Still running on biodiesel, homemade fuel. Hasn't broken down, hasn't had any problems yet.
Man, I'm just fucking waiting for a mate down here.
So this truck came the whole way off the road and hit another truck and made a whole path right through the scrub. This is how to make lunch when you're on the road. You get a can and you just crack it so it doesn't explode and build pressure up. And then just put it in there. And go for a drive, and after a few minutes it'll be ready to eat. And that is how to make some really nice engine brake cooked tin spaghetti. Cheers. Tastes good. So this is how you refuel it. Has a pump there. That's the refrigerant release that runs the motor, the battery, it's got to connect. At the 90-mile straight, which is Australia's longest straight road, I won't need to worry about not having power steering for the next 90 miles. Have a look at this sunset. How good is that? That right there has got to be $1 million sunset. So, I forgot that the sun sets later because I've got a lot further over east. I'm still in Western Australia. So, the town I was meant to make it to, which I forget the name of yet again, starting with C, I was unable to get there because the sun has set already. So, camping on the side of the road in the parking bay. But that's good because it's free. This is Madura Pass. It's a bloody beautiful lookout. All that is just like the flat Nullarbor there, and this is sort of raised. I don't know if the camera will see, but there's like a raised section there. $1 million view, just filled up here with fuel, free fuel. So 120 bucks for free, $1 million bucks for free. That's pretty good. That is absolutely insane. Still no problems, other than the thermostat. The thermostat took like half an hour to open today, so I might have to change it when I get to Adelaide. First breakdown on the Nullarbor. It appears that the car isn't revving past 2.3 thousand RPM, and yeah, it can't get past about 93k an hour, so I'm guessing the fuel filter's blocked. So I'm going to put a new fuel filter in and see what happens. Anyway, this thing, turns out the problem was a blocked fuel filter. So it's got a new fuel filter in it, works good. Then it had a vacuum leak, which turned out to be this line that was split so the motor wouldn't turn off without stalling it. So now that's fixed, and now that's fixed. It's time to get her back on the road and hopefully make the border in about 200 k's. So I've made it to South Australia, whole way from biofuel. Great Australian buy in South Australia. Look at that for a view. It's absolutely insane. It's the Great Australian buy. Stand on there. Start with the Nullarbor plain, which is it's Nullarbor road. So we're right there. So far have done this far. So there, that's Nullarbor Roadhouse. Over here is the old roadhouse with an old Bowser. Here's an old wagon, and behind is the Nullarbor, just like no trees as far as the eye can see.
'Cause you know that's not you, don't tell me what to say. 'Cause you know I'd go away, don't tell me who to see.
Caravan park meal, don't have to use an engine to heat it up this time. So this is what I've done for the temporary thermostat issue fix. It might work. In Canada and places where it's really cold, they block off portions of the radiator. Not something you should have to do in the hottest continent in the world, in the hottest part of the hottest continent in the world, at the hottest time of the year, but with a thermostat jammed open, it takes forever to warm up. This is Australia's largest windmill. It's 35 feet across in diameter, so it's about 10 metres or so. That's my biggest fan. So I have made it to Ceduna, past the Nullarbor. This is the town of Poochera, which has the word poo in the name, funnily enough. And this is called the dinosaur ant, which is meant to be the oldest type of ant that's still alive. This is Peter's humpy. A humpy's like a dirt floor house. And it's been made out of old Kero tins. You can see they're all branded shell, made in Australia. But yeah, they're flattened out and turned into like roof tiles. This is the gate to the old dingo fence or dog fence. World's biggest galah at Kimber, big fiberglass thing. and halfway across Australia. Big wind farm that I presume is Port Augusta. This campsite for today in Port Augusta Caravan Park. The most expensive caravan park I've stayed at so far on the trip. There's the mountain range in the background. It's the utes. Still working. Port Perry, Australia's 10th shittest town for still being shit, according to the Shit Towns of Australia Facebook page. It's a joke. Here's Loch Ness Monster, made out of tractor tyres. And this lake is about 150k north of Adelaide, Big Salt Lake. Lake has the funniest name. Lake Bumblunga. So this is Port Adelaide. You never get this on camera, but this stuff smells so good when you pump it in. It's like a bloody fish and chip shop. There's a bit of a beauty setup. It's just a little, it was a $150 pump online. It's always good to check the oil level with the car every day. So far I've put about 3 litres of oil into the car on this trip, which has been about 2.7 thousand kilometres so far. Currently staying at Mount Pleasant Caravan Park, and I am right next to a little creek, which is good because it looks cool, but also bad because at night mosquitoes will be everywhere because I'm parked right next to it. But anyway, hopefully they don't come out and there's not many. I bet there'll be heaps, but National Motor Museum of Australia. It's made it this far. Lane Brothers Land Rover. I'm currently in Keith, South Australia, and here is a Land Rover on a pole. It's a Series 1 Land Rover. These bricks, my grandpa made the mould that made these bricks. Victoria! She's made it that far! Feeling very victorious now. South Australia, Victoria. South Australia, Victoria again. Yeah. Gonna get some tin hot dogs to eat. It's gonna be a good dinner tonight. I'm currently in Carniva, South Australia, and they got this painting on the silo, which looks pretty cool, of an eagle. The other good thing, look at that, I don't have to pay nothing on biodiesel. How good's that? You got a roadhouse here. And they also got a painted sheep. 3,000 kilometres so far. Now why the hell would you pay for a powered site at a caravan park when for half the price you can get an unpowered site and use the power plugs in the kitchen? And then you can run your computer and charge it. This is Ballarat. This is one of the first, if not the first place gold was discovered in Australia. The car has had some troubles. The clutch is starting to be a bit funny, which is not good. I do have tools, but not a trolley jack, which is necessary to remove a transmission. Luckily, there is a Burson's in Ballarat, where I'm going to see if I can get a new clutch for it. It is not going to be fun changing the clutch because I'm only one man, and the clutch means you've got to pull the whole transmission out to get at it. but it is what it is. It has to be done because I ain't walking back. So this is a monument set up in Ballarat for, what would you say, dedicated to the people who found gold. This is a statue of Queen Victoria, who was the monarch that Victoria was named after, and she reigned for, I think, the longest time of any queen other than Queen Elizabeth, 60 something years. This is the town hall in Ballarat, clock tower, Australian flag. They're also flying the Eureka flag, which is also the Union flag. Near this point was the first gold discovered in Ballarat. This was the start of the Australian gold rush, which transformed Australia. So I've missed a train, but that's all good because there's a bar. Melbourne CBD at Southern Cross Station. Got the yellow Melbourne taxis. Some pretty cool designs for the buildings. Right in the centre of Melbourne. This is Melbourne, the capital of Victoria. This is the King George V Memorial. I've made it here by train. The car is still at Ballarat in the caravan park. It ain't going to make it any further. I'm just going to try to backtrack it. But yeah, this is the Melbourne Botanical Gardens. Currently in Melbourne, Victoria. This is the distillery where VB is made, which in my opinion is the best Victorian beer and one of the best beers of all, but still not as good as Swan. So this is the MCG in Melbourne, which is where all the footy grand finals are and a lot of the test matches. It's basically their main sporting oval. Tonight it is being used for a concert, Taylor Swift concert, her Eras tour. I'm not going to the Taylor Swift concert, but I just so happen to be here on the night. But this will probably be a good end to my attempt of driving from Northern to Canberra on homemade fuel. And I think I'll end it with a Taylor Swift quote, considering Taylor Swift is playing here tonight. Diesel is desire, you were playing with fire.